Amna provided repair service on credit to Maha by 3,000. If I provide a service directly, I will gain a revenue. So coming to the owner's equity section, under revenue, I gain a profit of 3,000. But my dear student, does I receive the amount of 3,000 that I performed service for it? No, I didn't receive the amount. I'm waiting to receive this amount from Maha. So coming to the assets section, under account receivable account, and I will increase it by 3,000. Why I put it on account receivable? This account, the money I wait to receive it from the customer. So because that I increase it. Moving to the last transaction in this section. Amna received cash from Maha with amount of 1,500. In transaction 7, I provide service to Maha, but I didn't receive the amount. Now, in this transaction, I received actually the amount. So, coming to the cash, and it will be increased by the amount I receive it. So, it will increase by 1,500. The amount that I'm waiting to receive, now I receive it actually. So, I will decrease the amount that I waiting to receive because I receive it. I will decrease it by 1,500. After finishing this transaction, I should find the balance of all the accounts and try to make a balance between the asset side and the side of total liability and owner equity. Next, moving to the expense section. Let us take a look about the transaction. We have it in this section, my dear student. Amna paid 500 for salary expense. Coming to the transaction number 9, if I paid 500, so if I paid, the cash in my company will decrease. Coming to the cash account, I will decrease it by 500, the amount that I paid. Moving to salary expense, I will shift to the owner equity section under the expense, and I will decrease it by 500 because I pay this expense. Then, incurred advertising expense for 800 on account. If I incurred this expense, coming to the expense section, I will decrease it by 800, and does I paid this expense? I didn't pay it yet, so it is a liability for my company. I will come to the liability section. Under the account payable, I will increase it by 800 because I didn't pay this expense yet. Finally, as I know, I should find the balance for all accounts, and I should make the total to make our equation is balanced. Moving to the drawing section. Amna withdraw cash of 1,000 for personal use. If I draw an amount from my account directly, I know that my cash account will affect by decreasing the amount in the cash account. And then I know the withdrawal or the drawing is an example under the owner equity. So, coming to the section of owner equity, under the drawing, I will increase it by 1,000. And finally, as I know, I should find the balance of each account and keeping my equation equal the asset side with the total side of total liability and owner equity. Let us take an exercise, my dear student. The exercise we have indicate the multiple effect on the account equation of the business using the plus for the increase and using the minus for the decrease and not effect for the transaction that there is no effect on it. You have few minutes to take a look about the transaction. We have it. Now, after you take a look about the transaction, we have it. Let us check our answer, my dear student. For the first transaction, the owner invests cash in the business. Where will be the effect? If I invest directly, the owner equity will increase, and I invest in the cash, and the cash is type of an asset, so the assets will increase. There will be no effect in the liability section. For the second transaction, the owner withdraw business assets for personal use. If I withdraw, I know the withdrawal, it will be affect the owner equity of the company. So it will decrease the owner equity. And if I withdraw a money, the cash in my company will decrease. So the cash is type of an asset and it will be decreased. Thirdly, the company receive a cash from a bank loan. If I receive a cash, the cash in my company will increase, and I know the cash is a type of an asset. The bank loan, it's mean I have a liability, and the liability will increase for me in my company. Fourth, the company repays the bank that had lent money to the company. If the company repay, so it will decrease the cash, I have it, and the cash I know it's an assets account. And if I pay for the money I lent it, so the liability also will decrease. Moving to the fifth transaction, the company purchase equipment with its cash. If I purchase equipment, the equipment will increase. And I know that the equipment is an asset, and this asset will increase. And I pay cash, the cash for it will decrease. And I know the cash is also an asset. So the effect, both of them will be on the asset side. One, increase when I'm buying the equipment, and the other will decrease when I pay the cash. The sixth transaction, the company purchased a significant amount of supplies on credit. So the effect will be increasing in assets and also increasing in liability. The company purchased land by paying half in cash and signing a note payable for the other half. So I purchased a land. The land is an asset for me. So the assets will increase. Does I pay the amount of this land? Yes, I pay just half of the amount. So the cash also will decrease in the asset side by half of the amount. And what about the other half of the amount? It will be a liability for me. So the liability for me will increase. The effect on this transaction, once will decrease in the asset side. For the cash I pay it, the increased side for the land, and the liability for me will increase. By that, my dear student, we reach our end of lesson. At the end, my student should achieve the following objective: understanding the accounting equation and define the component of it. Second, explain the type of assets, liability, and owner equity. And finally, ended with analyzing the effect of business transaction on the accounting equation. Thank you for your attention, my dear student. And for any more information, you can visit the Ministry of Education website, or you can take a look about the exercise and activity in your school book. Thank you, my dear student, for your attention, and see you on the next lesson.